Welcome back to State of the Union. This Friday is the 2-year anniversary of the January 6th attacks. The events of that day led to criminal prosecutions and played a role, pretty big one, in the midterm elections. They also changed the careers of 2 House Republicans who chose to serve on the January 6th committee, and largely as a result of that patriotic service, they both are now leaving Congress. Joining me now is the outgoing Republican Congressman of Illinois, Adam Kinzinger. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Let's start with the work that you've been doing over the past almost 2 years, the January 6th committee. It's over, and it's now in the hands of the Justice Department. Do you think that President Trump ultimately will be charged for crime?
Look, I mean, when I got into this, when we started this process, I didn't know, I'm not a lawyer, not a Justice Department guy, didn't necessarily know, is he guilty of a crime or not? Obviously, what he did from a presidential perspective, from an oath perspective, is a problem. As we've gotten into this, I look and I'm like, yeah, if this is not a crime, I don't know what is. If a president can incite an insurrection and not be held accountable, then really there's no limit to what a president can do or can't do. And so, yeah, I do think ultimately, when we get to where we're going to go, I think the Justice Department will do the right thing. I think he will be charged, and I frankly think he should be. I mean, everything we've uncovered, from what he did with the Justice Department to everything leading up to January 6th to on January 6th, sitting there for 180 minutes and watching this occur in the hope that maybe, just maybe, that last attempt to stay in power will work.
So he should be charged and convicted.
That's my personal opinion. It's not from a
lawyer
or
Justice Department. Based on the evidence that you've been collecting.
Yes, and it appears like I look at that and I go, if he is not guilty of a crime, then I frankly fear for the future of this country, because now every future president can say, hey, here's the bar. And the bar is do everything you can to stay in power.
You talk about the future of this country. As you are on your way out and leaving Congress behind, are you optimistic or fearful for American democracy?
That's a tough question. So typically I'm always optimistic. I try to be. You can't do this job if you're not. I'm a little fearful in the short term. We're in a moment where facts don't really matter. What matters to people is just what your opinion is, and the facts that comport to that matter. We're in a moment where about half the country believes that the election was stolen. Maybe a third of the country now believes the election was stolen. But if you're in a democracy and you believe that your vote doesn't count, that's dangerous. So in the short term, I'm a little pessimistic, but I am in the long term very optimistic for this country, because I look back at trends. I look back at rough times we have been in, and we've always come out, and we haven't just come out of them, we've come out stronger. So look, democracies are not defined by bad days. We're defined by how we come out of those bad days. And so in the long term, I am optimistic. But I got to say to people, this is not a moment to rest. This is a moment where you have to understand there have to be uncomfortable alliances to defend democracy. But we can do this. If
you had a Wayback Machine and could go back a couple of years and tell the Congressman Adam Kinzinger of, just the 2020 election, what you would be doing for the 2 years following, would you say, yeah, go for it? Would you have done anything differently?
It's a great question, because I get asked that a lot, like, would you have done it differently? Obviously, there's been some sacrifice and everything in it. I wouldn't do one thing differently. Look, the way this has kind of gone in the last couple of years, it's been tough, right? I've had extended family that sent me letters telling me I was working on behalf of Satan. I mean, that's not something I could have imagined.
You had members of your family saying that?
Yeah. I mean, and it's nothing I could have imagined, a couple of years ago. But what that does to me is it reminds me of just how bad of a place we've gotten to. And, everybody in their life, and I was no different when I was a young guy, you always imagine a moment where you can stand alone, and where you're like the one person that can do the right thing in a crowd, right? Everybody imagines this moment. Very few people get a chance to actually do that. And I've learned in this job that very few of those that get the chance actually do it. I feel honored to have been at this moment in history and to have done the right thing. My kids are going to be proud of it. That's something that I take very seriously. And I wouldn't have done anything different.
When Congress is sworn in 2 days, You're getting a little emotional. Sorry.
Just a little.
Yeah. This is tough for you.
Yeah. I think it's so I'm not going to miss the job. I'm glad I'm not going to be back. It gives me time to focus on broader things, bigger fights. But I like, thinking of Adam Kinzinger when he's 32, kind of the new freshman, kind of like optimistic and bright-eyed, to where we are today. It's an emotional thing because it's 12 years of my life, right? And, I got into this single. Now I'm married with a kid. So I can think about that legacy. It's been a heck of a ride. Sure has. I
was going to ask if you are going to be sad not to be part of the next Congress in a couple of days.
No. I won't. Look, I want to still be able to have an opinion, right? So that's going to be tough, is I think adjusting to the fact that people will have less interest in what you have to say. But it's a tough time in Congress right now. I mean, it is. I'm looking at what this is shaping out to be, and I know the tough things we have gone through in the past. This is going to be a really tough year.
What does it say about the future of your party, the Republican Party, that Marjorie Taylor Greene and people like her are kind of ascendant, and the Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheneys of the world are no longer in the Congress?
I think it says to me that the Republican Party is not the future of this country, unless it corrects, right? Unless there's a change. Because I got to tell you, if you think of a successful America in 20 years, that's not going to be an America based on what Marjorie Taylor Greene wants or based on what some of these radicals want. The only way this country can succeed is if we learn to work together.
You once called Kevin McCarthy a true friend.
Yeah.
If you could sit him down, just the two of you, right now, what would you say?
I'd just let him know I'm disappointed, right? I mean, he as a leader, not just a member of Congress, as a leader of Congress, he had an opportunity to tell the truth to the American people. And he went to Mar-a-Lago a couple weeks after January 6th and resurrected Donald Trump. He is the reason Donald Trump is still a factor. He is the reason that some of the crazy elements of the House still exist.
If he didn't go down there, you think Trump would have been iced out?
I do. I think first off, had we actually removed Trump from office during impeachment, that would have been huge, right? So that's on McConnell and some of the Republicans in the Senate. But yeah, I think the second, because I lived it, the second Kevin McCarthy went to Mar-a-Lago, the conference went from like quiet, what are we going to do, where are we going to go, to begrudgingly defending Donald Trump again. He is responsible. Actually, Donald Trump should consider Kevin McCarthy his best friend, because Donald Trump is alive today politically because of Kevin McCarthy.
Last year, you told the Huffington Post you would love to go up against Trump in the 2024 primary. You said, quote, "I think it'd be fun."
It would be fun.
Are you going to run for president?
No, it's not my intention, no. But it would be fun to run against him because he stands up and just lies. He tells untruths. People love it because it's entertaining. But eventually people have a concern for their country. So no, my intention is not to run in 2024. But it would be fun. It would be fun to stand on a stage with Donald Trump and actually tell the truth, because when he's on a stage, it's nothing but lies that come out.
Well, no matter what you do, I don't think that this is the last that we're going to hear from Adam Kinzinger. Thank you so much, and thank you for your service. You're obviously also in the military, so thank you for that and everything that you've done in Congress as well.
You bet. Thank you.